You know how much human potential is being wasted because of this whole each man for himself, everybody needs to compete in order to eat and live religion that we've all been indoctrinated into? You know what almost every successful entrepreneurial business boy has in common? That they didn't have to do that. That for an extended period of time, they were able to focus entirely on something not immediately profitable because of generous family or investment from friends or some sort of safety net that was providing for them so they didn't have to go and get whatever job they could find in order.
I will say this until I leave this mortal realm. The only reason why Commander Tomorrow happened is because my dad died. And I don't say that to make people feel awkward. It's supposed to be somewhat humorous, but I will always say it because of the truth. The fact of the matter is, when my father left, he left me his car and he left me a substantial amount of money. The majority of that went to making that book, Commander Tomorrow. I paid every artist. I paid, meaning with all the pinups, including, of course, the main art, Nate, who not only penciled but inked and colored it, and I paid the letterer as well. And I do not regret that whatsoever. I also still had a bit of left where, as my dad told me when he retired at 70 and passed away at 71, live now, don't be like me, because it's a fucking scam. I did. I went on vacations. I had gastric bypass surgery. I was living those few years that I had without having to work were incredible. And again, some money, yeah, I regret spending on what I spent it on. But overall, I'm grateful and I'm glad that I got to live a little. Because unless this book takes off, this guy will be working paycheck to paycheck for the foreseeable future. And I'm okay with that. It's not a diss against any field or whatever. I'm in a field that I friggin' love. That it took me, over 40 years to finally found a field that I actually want to grow in and be better at. So I'm grateful for that as well. But yeah, it is so infuriating how rich people like to cosplay being poor. It makes no friggin' sense. And I learned that the hard way when I moved to New York City years ago, to think that I was going to do stand-up all the time. The majority of the people that live there, that are going on auditions and so on and so forth, they, maybe had a part-time job, or not. And that's no disrespect to them or their talent. But again, it gives the frustrating part of all of this is how, because those who have to work one full-time or multiple jobs at a time and they can't get to their art, then somehow they're told that they're not working hard enough or they're not grinding it, which, by the way, that word should be stricken from our language. It is the most arrogant, obnoxious podcast bro, tech bro word that just is horrible. And so I guess I'm making this video not to discourage anyone who is struggling to continue to make their art because they're working multiple jobs or they're tired all the time. I'm saying it doesn't negate how talented you are. The system is working the way it's meant to, which is making so many of us friggin' work consistently to barely get any money back to feed ourselves, our family, etc. And those who have the money, I mean, the Nepo baby thing in Hollywood alone is ridiculous. And again, side note, cosplaying being poor, say who you are, so many hide that shit, and again, it's, yeah, you're talented, but guess what? You're also talented because that's all you did. You didn't have to worry about, budgeting to make sure that you have enough gas to get to work for the next 2 weeks before your next paycheck. You don't have to worry about what, if you have enough food, so you go to Ollie's or Dollar Tree or whatever the fuck to hoard, cans of beans or ramen noodles, which is not the healthiest thing on the planet, but they're so delicious, ramen noodles. Yeah, I mean, it's this weird, I'm going all over the place here, but I think the main thing is for those artists who are struggling, continue to try to make art when you can, but be fucking, you know, live in reality, and don't beat yourself up. Don't let others beat yourself up. Don't let people say, oh, it's, you know, that means you're just not good enough or whatever. No, it just means that we are living in a society where we would rather um, praise the 1% that give nothing to us in return. Um, so again, I cannot stress this, how grateful I am that this book was made, because when I say this took 15 years to make, the majority of that time was because I didn't have the money, and I wasn't going to pay an artist with exposure, you know? I it's, you know, so I mean, if you have a friend that is your best friend and does art, and you know, you want to work together, and then, you know, pay them in the future if they're fine with that, fine. But at the same time, again, realize that everyone is struggling out there trying to make, you know, whatever they can, and so pay your artists, pay the artists, you know. Anyway, I've babbled on long enough. Buy Commander tomorrow, later this year, so then I can hopefully make the final 2 books, because yeah, I put everything I could in this book, and it would be really cool if I could complete the story in my way. Meaning, book 1 has an ending, so it's not like a cliffhanger. But I you know, I'm a nerd. I'm a trilogy baby, and yeah. Okay, talked way long. Sorry for the length. Whoever sees this, bye bye.